How are you, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Teacher Kaligo Dotto Njige, or Teacher Kadonji, the mind of literature and the young African writers from Tanzania, Africa. Dear listeners, especially students, Form 5 and Form 6, listen the play analysis, Betrayal in the City, which is written by Francis Imbuga in a year of 1976, and the setting of this play was located in Kenya after independence. The play portrays the social, economic, political, and traditional issues in Kafila state. The play shows various betrayals happening in Kafila state by the government leaders to their people, through using power to silence people by imprisoning them and sometimes killing them. This is indicated when Adika is killed due to organizing the students' demonstration. Nina and Edoga, the parents of Adika, are also killed to make them silent. Also, the play shows how the leaders use their powers to silence their people. For instance, Jasper is silenced, also Moses as well as Jael among men. This is because of airing the truth in Kafila. This is shown when Askal tells Moses in the jail it does not pay to have a lot mouths. This is shown page 24. Also, silence is the best ship home, meaning silence is the best way of evaluating or leaving the problem. Despite all of this, the play provides the solution towards the injustice, humiliation done by the government. A sacrifice and revenge is how Jael and Joseph sacrificed themselves in the killing of Muriri. Jael says, "We must sacrifice for future betterment of Kafila." This is on page 76. Also, a play portray on the issue of public fund done by the government leaders such as Tumbo, Boss, as well as Muriri, who contribute the underdevelopment of Kafila state. This is shown when Tumbo says, "You were born alone, and when you die, you will die alone." This indicates selfishness and the misuse of funds. So that is an introduction of the play, Betrayal in the City. So let us look the title of the play, Betrayal in the City. This is the name of the book, composition, or other artistic work. Title affects the reader's intention and focus the tone and substance of writing to follow. Title may be followed by a colon and subtitle, which usually focuses on ideas expressed on the main title. It has been divided into two types, such as ionic and direct title. The title for our book is Betrayal in the City, written by Francis Imbuga. It is a direct title, since there is a real relationship between the title and what has been discussed within the book. Betrayal in the City paints the picture of independent African state, which has to bear in the brunt of representative leadership. The head of state of Kafila boss does not give the room of alternative views. This is a betrayal to the citizens who voted to him and to head of Kafila state. Moses Wantoga says that the state fails because of bad politics policy, improper ideology, tribalism, and corruption. He looks back on the history and the future of Kafila and the boss, and he sees emptiness. The second betrayal is when Murid tells Jasper that the boss has never been his cousin, or he could only be distance causing. He says that there is absolutely no reason why boss should not be killed. Also, Mridi betray Kabito. He says that Kabito has complained the boss has robbed him of the milk tender. He has loaned the economy. He hides millions in the foreign countries and he tried to get Regina by force. His boss trusted him and gave the tender of milk supply at Kafila. But also Mridi kills Kabito, Nina Doga, and Adika because of the illusion to win property from the boss. Also, Tumbo betrayal Regina's trust in him when he fails to tell her the exact intention for boss during her appointment to Passion for Moses. The list he hosts become so amorous that Regina is forced to jump out of 10-foot high window to escape. This betrayal, since boss intended to enter another woman in her wife's house. Therefore, our title Betrayal in the City has direct relation to the content and those which the author has already discussed. That is the title of the play, Betrayal in the City. Let us look the setting of the book. This is a place or surrounding where the something is positioned or where an event takes place. The environment in which the literary work is done. In our book, Betrayal in the City, the playwright used the major setting of Kafira state, the state which is not exist in any country around the world, but the events, message, and themes of Kafira portrays or represents several countries around the world, especially African countries. Example, the issue of corruption, traditional beliefs, selfishness, nepotism, hypocrisy, dictatorship, and irresponsibility are not only at Kafira state, but even in developing countries like Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Malawi, and Burundi. Therefore, Francis Imbuga shaped all African countries soon after independence, when people in the authority were irresponsible, illiterate, and nepotism as boss. While the playwright show us that in Africa there are some people who sacrifice their lives for the majority as Adika, Jasper, and Moses, while there is others who look for their own interest. Therefore, struggling and unity must be used to ensure development in Africa. That is the setting of our book. Let us look at another element of literature, character and characterization. Number one, Mlili. He is a high-ranking military and government officer. His relation to boss made him get a high position despite his illiterate. He is a brutal. Mlili is responsible for death of Kabito, Nina, and the dog. While Jail is overcome by pity on seeing Nina and the dog mourning their son, Mlili is unshaken and insists that the ceremony must be put off. After quarreling with Kabito, Mlili plans his treacherous. Mlili is only loyal to earn cause long as her individual gains to make from the cause. He is loyal to boss when he has power because he is corrupt, awarded public land tender. He does not care about other citizens of Kafila. He lacks to Nina and Doga, who are placed by boss regime. When Moses and his team overthrow boss really convenient, then his relation to boss, calling him a distant cousin. Number two, Moses. He's a senior university lecturer and a brother of Regina. He was previously called Nicodemus, but he dropped the name after he was framed Nicodemus to go to prison. He is pessimistic. Moses is seen to hopeless about any change being realized in Kafila. He says during the speech at Adika's funeral, I learned the bitter truth. Kafila was not going to change after all. He's patriotic. It is instant that his country Kafila is very much angered by what has happened in Kafila. He criticized the government even when it is risky to do so. He tells jail it was better while he waited. Now we have nothing to look forward to. We have killed our past and they are busy killing our future. Our children will never have such memory. He is educated, one, because he is a senior university lecturer. Number two, boss. He is the head of state of Kafir. He's, he was a military officer before taking power solo a coup. He's portrayed as a weak ruler because of being influenced by his advice. He is a corrupt leader. He is a responsible leader. He is a solutionist leader. Number four, Jello. He was initially a soldier before he was fall out with the military, and before a prisoner, he became instrument of coup that finally released Kafil of both government. He understands one, since he is understands the plight of Nina and Doga, argues with Muri to let them have the ceremony. He plays an active role in liberating Kafila. He therefore represents resistance in corrupt and dictatorial regimes. Number five, Tumbo. He is regional landlord and the chair of committee in charge of visiting head of the state entertainment. His seriousness has been beneficial of both his corrupt regime, Tumbo, ignore the plight of other citizens of Kafila who bear the brunt of their government, corruption and brutality. He tells Jasper that one should enrich himself first before he can try speaking for others. He says this in effort to encourage Jasper to protest against and to defend his last seat to criticize the government. Number six, Regina. She is sister of Moses and Jasper's girlfriend. She is confident woman as she believes that she can convince boss to release his brother from prison. She is also advisor as she advised Jasper and his brother to let others speak on behalf of the state. Number seven, Nina. She is Doga's wife and the mother of Jasper and their digger. She is traditionalist as she supports her husband to pursue the shaving ceremony of their son Nadika. She is also coward woman as she fears to set eye on the grave of her son. She is also child care as she tells Jasper to put on decent clothes. Number 8. Doga. He is the husband of Nina and the father of Adika. He is realistic as he tells his wife that they need not to cry since tears are for the young and their own wells are dry. He is also traditionalist as he insists on performing the shaving ceremony of their dead son Adika. As he says, ceremony must go on as planned. He became grateful when Jerry supported him to conduct the ceremony, where he offers him Bible. Number 9. Pascal. He is a prison wonder. He is mandated to keep watch of Jerry and Moses. He is also a hypocrite man, as he tells Jerry that they are giving consideration of his future despite his contribution to the nation heritage. He is also a harsh person as he intimidates Jael, saying next time you call friend, you will lose the truth. That is the element of character and characterization portrayed by the playwright Francis Imbuga. Let us look themes found in this play, Betrayal in the Street. Them is the central idea explored in the story. Literal theme might be the subject matter or present itself as a message within a large story. In the play, Betraying the City have the following themes. Number one, betrayal. This is when someone you trust lies to you, cheats on you, abuses you, or hurts you by putting their own interest. Therefore, it is the act of going contrary to what you have discussed or agreed. The author or playwright Francis Imbuga revealed these themes using characters as follows: betrayal, which is done by boss, who is the head of Stylistic. This scene when he betrayed the society by failing to implement Kafila's Africanization program. Also betrayal is done by boss, whereby he steals the government fund and hides in outside the country. This proved when he says, I keep money in the foreign land. Who gave him information? Page 62. Betrayal done by Tumbo, who's chairman of entertainment committee. This is when Tumbo betrayed boss by failing to conduct play writing competition as being ordered by boss. He then declared Jasper to be the winner without conducting competition. Another betrayal is done by Yell when he betrayed boss by allowing the old cook to conduct the shaving ceremony contrary to boss's order. This makes Yell to be arrested and taken to prison. Yell says to Mril, Yell, let us allow these people to carry on with their ceremony. Mril, no ceremony is on. Page 18. Also, Mril betrayed boss by refusing that he's not his cousin, but is just a distant cousin. He also reveals all levels done by boss, why he used to be favored by boss. He says, Yell, this man is your cousin, Mril, his own distant cousin. That is all, Jasper. Jasper also betrayed Tumbo by writing play betraying the city instead of play about the achievement and the progress of Kafila's society, as he was ordered by Tumbo. This makes dictatorship, government of boss, to be overthrown. Number two, irresponsibility. This means careless about the consequence of one's action. They also reveal this by showing the government leaders are responsible. This scene when read plan discussed to boss and Gabito. Boss as the head of the state was required to make sure that all are verified for the sake of getting truth, instead of ordering Moridi to silence Gabito. As he says, boss, come report to me that he is silent, Mlidi. That be small, remember that all the coup, boss shooting clear out of my sight and get on with it. Shown page 63. Also, government leaders consider things of race value. For example, they don't consider about education. They want to suspend studies in order to welcome visitors. Number three, brutality. Refer to the act of being rough, cruel to others. This theme is portrayed in the play by looking Kafila's leaders who do not take him to their people rather than torturing them. Askar tries to show experience toward people who seem to be trapped. Jail, my friend, why? Askar, next time you call me your friend, you will lose your tooth. Brutality is also done by Kafira state to her city, whereby they use force mechanism for keeping people silent. Example, Adika was killed during the university demonstration to slay other students. Number three, position of women. Women portrayed in different categories. In this play, women portrays negative and positive ways. Number one, tool for pleasure. This scene when boss try to rape Regina also portrays as inferior. Thus they are believed that they can't give out clear view in front of men. As Doka says, stop, where are you? What sort of mother are you? Page 7. Also portrayed as advisor. This is when Nina advised her husband to report the murder of their dead son Adika to the sub-chief. Also, women portrayed the children care. Nina is the mother of Adika, and Jasper seem to care their mentor with a good information. The first month and showing great love, her children. Nina, why is Jasper? Dogger, is right? Why is Nina? He's our own hope. Nina, you take care of that things and go and put on something decent. As compassionate, this scene when Regina played all as women to her brother Moses, and she was trying to ask the head of state to release him, though she faced various obstructions from both Namrida. She also felt pity to her boyfriend, tiredness. Jasper, what do you see in my eyes? Regina, you need less traditionalism. It includes those values which exist in traditional culture and ways of life. They also reveal the themes of traditionalism by showing Doga and Nina prepared themselves for sharing ceremony of their beloved son Adika, sharing the same knife during circumcision. Number 5. Lack of freedom. This scene when Askari prohibits Moses from asking questions. Askari says, I'm here to see that you ask no question. Page 26. Also, Askari says that when Moses was brought to jail, he was full of questions, but too mature stroke would erase the lesson. Thus, people are not given a chance of expression in Kafira state. Number 6. Hypocrisy. This means that the act of intending people not being truthful or not being honest toward others. The government leaders not honest to the citizen. This scene when Nicodemus, the government leader, planned false changes to the Moses Watoga by accusing him in possession of illegal drugs. As Moses says, not being in possession of illegal drugs, 1 kilogram of opium. When they searched my car, they sure enough found the drug. I laughed. I heard similar stories, but I never thought it would never happen to me. Also, dishonesty is seen when Muril goes to present false statements that Capito has blamed the boss, has lowered him from his job, and the present main fact about Kafila state, final Capito was killed. Number 7. Protest refers to the act of going against the unfavorable situation that exists in the society. It also involves expressing disagreement. Example of protest include university students who reacted against the situation of importing external exciting into the country. Though people in Kafira protest but they got nothing, they end up in trouble. Boss, no one who shoot at me get what they want. Page 74. Number 8. Selectioners. The act of considering individual interest or advantages than others. In the play, leaders rule for their own benefit. Example, Mr. Tumbo is led to announce Jasper as the winner of the play competition so as he can earn something. Tumbo, good. Now, if the £6 was to finance the competition, I give you one set of the two of you. Shown page 52. Boss also serifs for remove gray hair in order to remain in power. Also, boss are gray hair and signify wisdom. A leader would not grow gray. People begin to lose confidence in you. Number 9. Nepotism or favoritism is an unfair practice by powerful person of giving jobs and their favor to relatives. In the play, nepotism is seen when boss, the head of Kafita state, promises his favor, his cousin, made many hectares after his retire. Also, he favor him by giving him a tenth of supplying milk at the university. Mlady, my future depend on this. If I keep law and order, a big farm, become when I retire. Boss promises me that, and you know I be his eye and his ear. That is the themes found in the play. Let us look the message portrayed or shown by playwright Francis Imbuga in his play Betrayal and the City. Message is the lesson that we get all in. After reading little work in the play, Betrayal the Seed, there is the following message. Number 1. Betrayal, create and development in the society. This is seen when the government of Kafila betray the citizen and lead the failure of Africanization. Number 2. Development to occur. Responsibility. It's necessary. This is seen the government of Kafila where the leaders are not responsible. By avoiding the society will develop. Number 3. Nepotism and hypocrisy is a source of conflict in the society. This is evidenced when Mlil discussed boss and on capital. Hence, capital is killed. Number 4. Sacrifice is needed for any change in the society. This is seen when Moses, Adik, and Jasper sacrifice for change of Kafila state. That is the message found in the play. Let us look at figures of speech or language use. The writer of the play, Bertrand has used a simple language, norm, mixed figurative language, grammatical language to convey the message to the audience. Also, mixed language or codemixing has been used as thumb. Swahili words by Mriri, Capito, Kabisa. Swahili words by Mriri Kabisa, page 73. The author or playwright also uses grammatical language to show class of educated people in Kafila who suffers from an educated one. This grammatical language is used by Jel, Jasper, and Moses. The playwright also uses figurative language, which help different messages from the book. He also uses figures of speech as follows. Number 1. Symbolism refers to the practice or an act of using an object or word to represent an abstract idea. The writer employs symbolism to enrich message to the society. Example, potato, to symbolize man. Coin on the grave, symbolize poverty. Gun, to symbolize injustice. Mlili's language, symbolize illiterate. Number 2. Rhetorical question. This is a question which does not require an answer. Example, when Jasper says, Jasper, girlfriend number 1, satire. That is rhetorical question. Number 3. Satire is a form of writing where an individual or society is ridiculed or where the foolishness of an idea, practice, or custom is shown. Example, Mlid and Boss has been satirized for being traitors uses a song, page 58, when we walk with the world in the light of his way, but trust and obey. They also use a song to show that despite of challenge they are facing, they still seeking for answers through divine intervention. Also, the author uses iron after death of a deacon. When we sing song of revenge, it is ironical that when he was back after 3 months, he left instead wasn't, and people said that he was mad. Page 4 up 5. Number 5. Samuel referred to the direct comparison of two different things by using some conjunction. Example, he was slaughtered like a goat. He was like a woman in a death home. Page 23. They have pounced on you like a hungry leopard. Page 32. I pended his remains like a man. Page 34. You work like a meteorological department. Page 22. Another figure of speech. Number 6. Metaphor. The figure of speech involves making comparison to things without using conjunction. Example: yell, you are woman, page 10. Chicken heart, page 44. Also, another figure of speech, number 7, allusion, refer to making reference to biblical words. Example: the rest shall be first, and the blessed as the poor, for they shall inherit the kingdom of heaven. Page 86. Number 10, hyperbole. This is an exaggeration of fact. It is shown when Regina says, there is no brand of beer he has not tasted. Page 44. That is the figure of speech or language used as portrayed by playwright Francis Imbuga in his play Betrayal the City. Let us look plot summary of this play. This is a logical structure behind anything that has been beginning, middle, and end, or it is little terms that describes the events that make up the story or main part of the story. There are two types of plot, as chronological and flashback. Francis Imbuga uses chronological, where the story starts from the beginning to the end, with normal arrangement. Example: the first scene starts with Nina and Doga in the grave of their son, Adika, who was killed through universal demonstration. Jasper comes back to the death of his brother Doga, and Nina suspecting that he is mad. Two soldiers come to ensure the ceremony is not held, but later Mrid and Jael disagree for the ceremony to continue as traditional beliefs. Scene to start with Jael and Moses, and Jael because of turning against both Elisha and Moses was because of planted opium in his car by Nicodemus. Celestine starts as Regina Low with Jasper. Mr. Tumbo comes to visit Regina, and Mr. Tumbo requests Jasper to write and the interested play for the visitor from outside. Act 2 starts the room committee, where Kabito, Nicodemus, Mrid, and the Tumbo conflict arises between Mrid and Kabito. Scene 2 starts at both homes, cutting out gray hairs. Mrid visits him after quarrels with Kabito. Boss order Mrid to kill Kabito and make it look like an accident. That is, Mrid gets revenge to Kabito. Scene 3 starts when Jasper enters the committee room to meet with Tumbo that he has no interest again to write the play because boss raped Regina. Scene 4 starts when Jasper and Tumbo they are making final preparation. Then boss speaks with Jasper that the students have nothing to protest on the government. Jael and Moses hold guns to challenge boss. Also, the scene shows when Mrid betrays boss by saying he is not his cousin. They end up the Jasper take gun to kill Mrid. Therefore, the play has used chronological plot, where events are arranged from one event to another. That is a plot summary, the short summary of plot of our play, Betrayal the City. Let us look at the relevance of the book. The play, Betrayal the City, is relevant to Tanzania society and Africa at large, since there are some things done in Kafila state which also appear in our contemporary society. They include the following: fear. The people in Kafila live in great fear since they lack freedom of speech. This is also revealed in African society, particularly Tanzania, where people lack freedom of expression. Example: Roma, the musician being Wasanan, the MP Lema were arrested because of revealing the government realistic. The issue of betrayal, as we have seen, the play is full of betrayal which range from culture to culture. It a person to political betrayal. Example: Mbili betrays boss, Tumbo betrayal boss. Even in our society, example: government betrays citizens. Corruption is still a problem in our society. The issue of responsibility of leaders is still a problem. nepotism and favoritism still a problem in our countries. That is the relevance of our play. So let us look the style portrayed by a playwright. Number one, the use of songs portrayed in this play. Also, the use of dialogue is shown, different dialogue portrayed by characters. Example, dialogue between Doga and Nina, dialogue between Jasper Wendo and Doga, and so on. And also the use of point of view. The use of said point of view and the first person point of view portrayed. And also the use of monologue, also soliloquy. Example, Jasper Wendo, Nina and the Doga speak on time. And also let us look the conflict of this play, Betrayal the Seat. Number one, social conflict is shown by university. Is shown by university student struggle against exploitation done by the government. And also another conflict, number two, political conflict between government and the society or university students struggle against the exploitation done by the government. Another conflict, number three, cultural conflict. Example, traditionalists and the government. Traditionalists want to celebrate or to mourn the ceremony of the death one. Example, Nina the Doga mourning the death of her son. Also, another conflict, diverge interpersonal conflict. Example, Nina, Doga, Jasper Wendo. Another conflict between Jasper Wendo and Mlidi, Jasper Wendo and Boss, Jasper Wendo and Mosese. That is a conflict as an element of literature. So that is the end of the play analysis, Betrayal in the City. Dear listeners, viewers, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share video. My name is teacher Kaligo Dotto Njige, or teacher Kadonji, the man of literature from Shinyanga, Tanzania, Africa. That is the end. Bye.